Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. Now I have more people in the room. It's more fun. Okay, so my name is Tiago Costa, and I'm going to try to speak a little bit about GitHub for an hour, okay, which is nothing. But the idea of this session is basically to give an introduction to MCTs, at least the bare minimum that we need so that we can work with GitHub. That's something that Microsoft is pushing us to do. So for the ones that don't know me, so I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. I'm also an MVP in Office Service and Service. I'm also a mode member, which is a Microsoft OneDrive expert. That's a new program in Microsoft for OneDrive initiative. And basically I work as an independent contractor. I always learned like that I don't work as a freelancer, as an independent contractor, which is totally different, okay? Because it doesn't have free in my word, okay, in the things that I do. So it's totally different. You have my contacts here, so if you want to basically follow me on Twitter and check out my blog and my email, it's basically the fastest way to reach me. The ones that don't know me, and for the ones that already know me, I just would like to give you some advices about Portugal and the reasons why you should not travel to Portugal. Never. Never. Oh, that's a good reason. I should put that one, okay? But, well, okay, that's also true, okay? But, so the reasons to never visit Portugal. So the first thing is, they say that Portugal is a breathtaking country. Really? I don't think so, okay? So ugly. They say that we have beaches like this. My accent. There is someone that say Yuri, okay? So I also have, this is my thing. When I was putting the slide, I said I should change the slide to something else. But we have the coast, so I had to add it, okay? So, but look at the color of our waters. It's gross, right? So it doesn't matter anything. And Lisbon, come on, bah, it's so ugly. The whole city lives in the past like this, so old, okay? And the wine, terrible, terrible. Never drink Portuguese wine, please. And our architecture, it's so darn boring. It's just the same everywhere. No class at all, even. No class really at all, okay? And the more important, never attend an IT conference in Portugal. Never, okay? They have no interest at all, okay? But really no interest at all. And the food, oh, gross, the food. And even sweets, they're so bad, right? Yeah, that's like never again, okay? So my recommendation, just stay at home, okay? And never come to Portugal, okay? So this is just something about Portugal, okay? So first of all, we have to thank our sponsors. Without sponsors, nothing like this will be possible because they pay their fair part, okay, of the parties and the drinkings. Sorry, this is recording, of the conference. Okay, so then you edit this, okay? Please, the part that I said drinks, no, cut, okay? So, agenda. So, let's talk about something important. So, what is GitHub? Microsoft and GitHub, and why GitHub? It could be other stuff, okay? And then I'll shoot you as an MCT prep for a class that uses GitHub. So, we'll start with GitHub. So, we'll start to talk a little bit about what are the features that we have, some of the benefits, terms, architecture, some getting started, forking projects, Markdown also important here, and some of the apps that GitHub already provided us that we just need to download and basically use them. Okay, but first I would like to start with something. When you need to do like a proposal or a document, like let's imagine, for example, a content for a custom class, right? So we start to call the document the final.doc, right? And then we are going to show it to our bosses or to the customer. No, you have to revise it. Yeah, so final_rev.to.doc, correct? And then we just generate this and this because then it's already 6th version and then 8 because, well, basically our bosses they always have different ideas each day of the week and each hour of the day. And so basically in the end we reach something like this. Okay, so that it's total unreadable. Correct? So basically, and this is, by the way, all the strip there, and that's like the website where I take it, okay? I don't like to steal anything, okay? But the thing is, it's hard, okay, for us to keep track of the changes and everything. There are some cool stuff, okay, like SharePoint, okay, to do it, but it's not a tool that is manageable for what we need, okay, as MCTs and all the lab changes. And who teaches Azure here, by the way? Azure, whatever you call it. Okay, some of you. So you are basically, well, when we teach Azure, it takes a lot of work because we need to prep every single time that we teach it. And I said Azure, but for example, the Office 365 course, okay, the 20347, right? I don't teach that one. And it's always a mess because something changes and everything. So even for Microsoft, it's not easy for them to track all the changes because Microsoft Learning, then you have the Azure team or the Office team, and we know that well, communication is not the best, okay, in saying, oh, this is going to change, so change in advance the stuff. So that doesn't happen. So the changes happen, are there, the change is there, then we need to basically to change them. So the idea of something like GitHub, it's really to do version control system. And some of you say, yeah, okay, that's fantastic. But Microsoft doesn't have something called TFS, right? But, well, the thing is that TFS is not that open to the community. And you really need to have a tenant for it, and it will not be that easy. So Microsoft already had a lot of initiatives on GitHub. Okay, so that's the idea, okay, of Microsoft is basically to have a version controlling system that is totally open, where we can share some code and we can kind of collaborate. So we can like report issues on GitHub, we can create comments, and then really iterate with the guys that really do the content. Because, for example, for the 2 Azure courses, so the 533 and the 532, there are teams of basically the authors that are managing the GitHub repo, okay? And the benefits that we have, track revisions, we can collaborate on projects. We basically explore also open projects like Bootstrap, Node.js, jQuery, FontHandsome. I think if there is some developers here or web developers or front-end developers, some of these names is something that you work with it every day. And the advantage of using GitHub is that I can just check the code. Okay, so one of my latest projects I was doing something on Node.js for SharePoint framework, and I had the issue that it was not working. And basically I went to the repo of Node.js and I understand how the team wrote the code, and basically I could just wrote my code that will work on that one. So that's a big advantage there. And of course, if I have some questions, I could just put questions there to the team, and usually they are very proactive. The community is very proactive in replying and helping you. But also other projects, like for example, ASP.NET Core, Entity Framework Core also, and these are from Microsoft. And Microsoft changed really a lot in the last years, and they are really making an effort on putting a lot of their code, a lot of their projects, okay, in the open source world. And so ASP.NET Core is totally open, so we can check everything. So if you go, I think it's here, the link, okay? If you go to this link, github.com/ASP.NET, you get a bunch of projects there like SignalR, ASP.NET Core, Entity Framework Core, and you can really read the code, okay, and how it's done. So there are not like black boxes or black magic behind the scenes that you don't understand how it works. It's there and you can check it, okay? You can read the code. Terminology on GitHub. Who uses GitHub already here? Yeah, a few of you. You're like, who uses GitHub not for Microsoft training stuff? Less. course. Okay, so basically the first thing that I like to show is some of the terms that we use on GitHub. So we call it usually a repo. That's usually the name that we give. It basically is a repository that it has all the project structure, files, documentation, revision history, the issues, okay, comments, all of that. Then we have another term that is called clone. So the first thing that we usually do is basically when we want to work with something from Microsoft Learning is that we are going to clone that repo. Basically, we're going to create a local copy, okay, of that repo in your file system. Okay, then we have other stuff like push, commit, pulls, okay. I just wrote it there so that we can just have here a definition for you guys to use later, but we're going to see this a little bit later. So I will start to do a demo about how can we create a new repo, okay, on GitHub. So the first thing that I should do is basically open GitHub. I already had GitHub open for time constraint, okay, and I'm already logged in with my account. So of course you can just register. It's for free. You get unlimited public repositories. If you want private repos, you need to pay. Okay, so that's how GitHub works. Okay, so the first thing that if I want to do, I just create here a new repo. Okay, and basically this will be the owner. I have other accounts here. Okay, but I'm just going to use mine, and I will call it like MCT Summit. Okay, of course we can just put a description, etc., and it's as easy as this one. Okay, so I just press create repo. Ta-da! I have a repo created. So this is like freaking hard to do, right? Okay, so this is my repo now. So with this URL now, I can just come, for example, to one of my apps that I have here. And this is the GitHub desktop app. And I can just, for example, go to my GitHub, and where's my mouse? There we go. Come on. File, clone. I just say which is my URL of my repository, and here I just say, okay, this is the local path where I want my files to be. So, and I can just say press clone, and basically I'm cloning the repo, okay, and it's done. I can show you the folder. So this doesn't have nothing, of course. So just open to. So bear with me with my demos, okay, because I'm not used to use the touchpad, and my mouse just stopped working in the Surface. I don't know why. So bear with me, okay. So there we go. This is the one that I created, so it's empty. Of course, that I can just create. I have here the 532. I can just come to GitHub also, and I have here a shortcut. Resolution, of course. There we go. It's here. So if we come to this one, so the repository where Microsoft Learning stores stuff, it's github.com, and then okay, Microsoft Learning over there, and in here we have a bunch of courses and other repos for, like, for example, for MVA and for initiatives on the EDX. We already talked with them and just said that they should create different stuff just for the mock courses, just for the EDX, MTAs, and all of that. They're like thinking about reorganizing this, and in the beginning, probably they had like only like 2 or 3 or 4 repos, but now they have a bunch of them. So sometimes it's hard, but we can just search here. Okay, by repositories, that's what I can just do this. 533, for example, that's one of the infrastructure Azure course. Okay, we can just check it. I will just copy the URL, and I will just use the app. Okay, and I will just clone it. Okay, and this will take some time. Okay, because there are like a lot of files there. I already have it cloned in another folder, but okay, it will just leave it there. Okay, and this is it, just to clone a repo. It's pretty easy. Second of all, it's basically the infrastructure and the architecture that is basically behind. So what I'm doing is that I'm creating here, a local repo. So, so I just clone the course here. So now if I want to change something, okay, I can just change something in my working folder. So I add like a file or something. And then I can create a commit, okay? And this will be created here. So a commit will be a bunch of like differences that I have. And then in the end, I can just say, yeah, just push, okay, that commit to really the repo that's on GitHub servers, on the cloud. And this is the idea, is just this. So this is GitHub. This is our local file system, all of this. Okay, so the idea is just this. The process is just this. Of course, when we work with Microsoft stuff, usually we don't do many changes. But if you see something that might need to be changed, like for example a PowerShell script, something like that, we should just do that. And because it doesn't work, like for example, a few weeks ago there was a problem that one of the data centers, they just had a data center there that was just using that, but I knew that now that service was in other data centers. And I wanted my students to use the other data centers. So I just changed the PowerShell script, and I just did that change. I just promote that change so that the team can check it. Of course, when I do this, and because I don't own the repo here, my changes are going to be reviewed, okay, by the repo owners. I'm just a collaborator there, okay? So they will review it, and then they will accept or not accept depending on what we do there. All of this is public. All of this you can just query through the GitHub site, and you can just check everything that's there. Okay, so that's because it's a public repo. That's one of the big differences of a public and a non-public one. So getting started a little bit. So create an account, working on our local machine. So usually when I install the app that I show you, it's also installed the git bash. That's the command line. And for the ones that prefer to use the command line instead of the GUI, of course you can. And then we have here some of the commands, like to clone a repo is just git clone, and then you just pass basically the URL of the clone of the repo that you want to clone. Then we can add files, for example, for our working directory. Then I can just say, yeah, add it. Okay, so that I can, it's not files on the system, that's different. We can have files there, but they are not belonging to the repo. So I need to add them to the repo, and then of course I can just create my commit, and then in the end, okay, I can just push them to GitHub. So let's do this here. Okay, so through the console. I don't use the console that much, to be honest, okay, but I prefer to use something that I'm going to show you later, that is Visual Studio with the GitHub extension, but it's always nice to use basically the console, because it's always cool to show a console in demos, right? Okay, so I can just check this. PWD will just give you basically what is the folder where I'm working. So I'm in users Tiago. That's not the very good folder for me because I don't have stuff there. So I need to change folder. So I think is this GitHub app. Okay, and then MCT Summit, right, was the name of our repo, correct? So there you go. So with this, I'm in my folder, and now I can see that, okay, I'm in what we call the master branch that I'm going to just check that out in the next slide. So basically, just for now, it's where we are, okay? So right now, I can just, for example, I have here a demo file. I will just, this is it's not code or everything, it's just a binary file, okay? So a demo file. And now I need to do what? I need to add, okay, my file to our repo. And next, if you see here on the slide, so there we go, already add it, correct? Okay, so now what I need to do is do what? A commit and then push it. So git commit, and I need to say that's a message, and I can just say MCT Summit rocks. Okay, and if we do this, so I already added, and now what I need to do is what? So I just did what? I add the file, I commit the file, now I need to push the file. So push. So, and when I do this, okay, there you go. So in theory, now, okay, where I am. So if I go to my repos, I should have a repo here called MCT Summit. There we go. That was updated 26 seconds ago, and there we go, I have my file there. Correct? Is this hard? Who said yes? It's not hard, come on guys, right? It's not hard, it's just really just this. Well, of course, I just did this with a binary file, okay, that's not a big deal, but I can do this with code files, with PowerShell scripts, with basically everything. You just need to have basically an editor for those files, and you just edit the file, okay, and then you just add the file, just commit the file, create your commit, and then just push the file. And yes, you don't need to do this per file. You can do batches of files. I just send one file because I will not overload the connection here. Okay, but it's just that. It's plain and easy. Of course, you can do this for other repos. Of course, you can. But then it will not be publicly right away available there because you can't. Usually, you can't push stuff to the master branch. Usually, you have to create a branch. Okay, and that you have to fork the project, work on that, and then you need to basically the ones that can basically put the changes in the master branch, that usually is the one that we use, are the owners of the project. So, but let's talk about fork. So this is something that is also important, is that we can have revisions of our projects, and then we can have, this is our, what we call the main branch. And let's imagine the following. I'm doing a project, and this is nothing to do with GitHub, okay? I'm doing a project, for example, for one of my customers. And now the customer said to us, okay, we really need a huge change in the UX experience of the project, etc. But that will take a bunch of time. So the project length, on that case, it's around 4 months. But you still need to give support through the actual project, to the actual application. If there is a business change, you need to basically do that business change. So what I did in that project, and I'm not doing that on GitHub, but the thing is the same. So I created a fork here, so for the new project. And the other one is still maintaining, and people are just changing code on that, and they are still shipping that code to basically to production and everything. But now I have like 2 versions of the project. I don't build another project, okay? I just create a new branch. So in terms of GitHub, what we do is that usually if we want to give people so that they can just use our project, so we just fork, okay, their project so that we can do changes in our fork, because I can do that. So, and to do that, that's also pretty hard, okay? So I just need to come to GitHub, and let's imagine that I'm going to one of the repos of Microsoft. So Microsoft Learning, and there we go, this one. And I can, yeah, this one I can't because I already forked it. Sorry. So one of the ones that I don't have. Yeah, probably this one. So I can just come here, okay, and I can just fork, okay, the project. And you see there that in this case, I don't know which project is this one, but no one forked this project yet, okay, which is clear sign of a non-successful project. Okay? But if we go, for example, for the... Yes? Really? There we go. Nothing like Control-Alt-Delete. So if we go, for example, for the 533 course in Azure, so you can see that it has already some forks, okay, 106. To be honest, and we have how many MCTs? 9,000, right? Around that, okay? So only 106 people are forking the project. Only. If you really want to, basically you can just come here, you can fork the project, you can take changes on the project, can then try to make those changes available for everyone. And one of the things that I can tell you for the ones that, for example, one day would like to be MVPs or something, is that GitHub contributions are counted, okay, and are aware, okay? So if you want to do that, that will be totally awesome, okay? So we already did this demo. So come on. Yes.
Specifically on the 532 that you were just doing, the purpose of a fork would be an update to the lab, but you would want to merge its backup now it's got limited use.
Now you can just, for example, you can just fork the project and just change stuff just for you, for example. Okay, because you want to change and you want to basically take those examples and create on top of the regular examples more stuff and change PowerShell scripts or something for your students. That you can also use it for that. Okay, I already have, for example, for the 532, I have a fork, and usually I ask my students if they want to take the regular course or the Tiago version of the course. Okay, so and I just tweaked a little bit the course so that at least I found it more interesting in terms of what it is. And of course I'm not going to ship those changes because it changes the content of the course and it doesn't make sense, okay, for the team to have that code. It doesn't make any sense for them. So now, other thing, you also, the ones that already saw something about, we already saw some files called MD, right? So those are the markdown files. And I always like to explain markdown in 3 words, okay? But first I would like to basically try to ask someone, what is markdown for you guys? We can, for example, markdown, amazing, markdown, okay, that's it, okay? But for example, Thorsten.
Do you want to give me?
What is Markdown for you?
There's an abstraction layer of HTML designed by John Gruber. You can create it distraction-free in Notepad. It's a very, very simple way to create.
Simple? I like that, the simple way.
HTML file.
Yeah, it's already finished.
Your voice is better.
Okay. So it's a very simple way to create. Okay, I prefer this one. Okay, it's HTML for Dummies. Okay, and I don't, sometimes people are offended by this, but I just take the idea from those blah, blah, blah for Dummies book, okay? So it's not something that will offend anyone, at least I think so. And this is really what I believe, is that you really do not have to have a large experience in working with HTML, because it doesn't make any sense. And who is an IT pro here? Okay, some of you? Yeah? Well, okay, probably half the class. Sorry, the group. So the thing is, probably most of you are not used to write the HTML code, and that makes sense. It's not your job. So, now I need to create stuff on the web. I need to learn HTML. No, because basically with Markdown, okay, and this is the website where you can take it. Basically, it's something that we just take text, okay, and we just generate text into HTML, and this is just a small example here. This is basically the text, and this is going to generate this kind of HTML, and of course then the browser will basically run that and just show that. Okay?
What? I never did it like that. What makes it the first level header? The equals?
The bars, yeah.
I always use the pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you?
This is, by the way, is taken by that website. And on that website, you have like a lot of examples, like how to create lists, how to show an image, and all of that. And it's usually when I need to write Markdown code, and I'm more used to really to write HTML code than Markdown, to be honest. So sometimes I'm like, how do I do this? Well, I just go to the website, and they have a bunch of examples there. So just go there, check it out, and just replicate that. That's it. That's really, but really, really easy to do. Then we have the apps on GitHub. So GitHub has basically two apps. That one of the first one is the GitHub desktop app, okay? And that you can reach it here and take the app. That's the one that I was using. And then you also have the GitHub extension for Visual Studio, okay? I don't know if some of you already use this one, but if you're a developer, a Microsoft developer, you are pretty much trained to use Visual Studio. And in my case, I use TFS and Visual Studio Team Services, that is the cloud version, for many, many, many years ago. So I'm just, Visual Studio for me is the natural point to be. And so I can do everything that I was doing before, but using, okay, this app. And it's pretty easy. So, and by the way, I think even now IT pros, MCTs have Visual Studio, right? Yes? Correct, right? So everyone has Visual Studio, okay? So, and by the way, I'm sorry by the resolution, okay, but I needed to change the resolution so that you guys can see on the screen. So, let me just check here. So here, okay, I can just manage my connections. There you go. And of course that on the right here, I have basically, this is my part of my TFS online, so it doesn't matter. Okay, and you should not even see some of this. And then I have here my GitHub. So I have the extension. I already logged in with my username and my password. And basically in here I have some of the repos. So I can just come here, for example, to the 533. Okay. And on the 533, I can then just see the branches, pull requests, sync, pulse graph issues, all of that. And I really do not need, okay, to be on GitHub. But most of this are just, for example, if I just say, yeah, pull requests, this will show me stuff here. Okay, but if for example, I will go to other parts, it just redirects you to GitHub. Like, for example, if I click here to see details of this one, it's not like in Visual Studio TFS or Team Services that you see and you have a UI, specific UI. Most of this will just redirect us to basically here. And this is one of the pull requests. And we see here, everything is public. This is the author of the course, okay? And basically, he just submitted a lot of stuff. So he deleted these DLLs, okay? And he added this file, and you have everything here. So it's totally public, totally open. And this is the reason why Microsoft chooses GitHub, okay? So that's all this approach that we have here. So talking about Microsoft and GitHub. So I think you know Codeplex? Yes? The developers might know, probably the original. It was a way that Microsoft had to basically to create open source projects on it and to be open to the community and etc. But it's closing. If you go to, I think it was codeplex.microsoft.com, something like that. There is a banner on the top saying that it's closing. I don't know when it is, but it's just, don't put stuff there now, okay? Okay, just use GitHub. That's where Microsoft is telling everyone is their recommendation. It's what Microsoft is using. So, okay, so it's the new cool kid stuff. It's just use GitHub. We don't use Codeplex. In terms of Microsoft Learning, important is that the lab steps are being removed from the skill pipes, the skill pipe books, correct? 533, 532, you don't have any lab steps there anymore. Basically, you don't get anything there. If you don't read the README file of the course in the beginning of the course, some MCTs that basically in my country just reach me, just asking me, oh, can you, where the lab steps are? I don't know where they are. I just read this part on the skill pipe book. They say where they are. Okay, I like to help, but I also like to say where it is so that the next time they can be more autonomous. Most MCTs will not read that. Okay, and some people are like in panic without knowing where the files are, but it makes all the sense to be there. Microsoft has changed, so they are like promoting a lot of the open source initiatives, what means that if there is something that it doesn't work, okay, the community can put it to work. It doesn't have to be Microsoft to do all the work. Okay, so this is the new thing. And we need to understand it's open source. It's just like that. Okay? And of course, Microsoft is using this, for example, for most of the documentation that is being migrated to docs.microsoft.com, correct? Like SQL Server documentation, Office 365, Azure documentation. Okay? For example, in the Azure team that is doing documentation, we used to have a former MCT in Redmond that he's just doing that. And now he's changed role. He's in another team that some of you know is Telmo Sampaio. Okay, Telmo was just doing this. Yeah.
I've got a question about this whole thing.
Yeah.
People normally get paid for all that, setting up the labs, doing the documentation. So this is kind of like stepping away from Microsoft's responsibility, where they just can expect you to fix it for free.
Yep. That's it. That's true.
That's the new thing.
That's open source.
Then courses and stuff needs to get cheaper.
Okay, where is Allison? It's not here, right? Okay, she should be here. It's not with me that, yeah, but I understand the thing. That's why I opened that that Pandora box, let's just say. Okay, but the thing is, with the changes that, for example, let's focus on Azure. Azure changes all the time. Too fast. And it's almost impossible for the course author. Microsoft should pay the course author, should be like laying down until there is a change and they just act right away. Let's face it, that's not possible. No company will do that. Okay, so, okay, but no company will do that. Okay, so the thing is, okay, they rely on us, okay, to basically do some of the work. I'm not just saying it's perfect, okay, admin. But that's the thing, okay? The same thing as, for example, in the documentation, okay? If you go to docs.microsoft.com, you have a button there, edit on GitHub, on the, I think it's right upper corner or something. And if you click there, it's just going to redirect it. That's Markdown. All the documentation is Markdown. So just go there and you can edit the file directly on the website. And then you just say, yeah, just send these changes to the team so that they will approve. Do you need the Git bash? No. Do you need the GitHub app? No. Do you need the extension for Visual Studio? No. Do you need like a Sublime or Visual Studio Code or Atom or other editor? No. You can just do everything on the browser. That's also possible. So you really don't need to install nothing to edit and to promote and to like a change in the documentation. And if you find an error, you can just go there and just do it. And what do you earn with it? Okay, reputation on GitHub. That's it. Okay, if you want to have like a high rank on GitHub, you can basically do that. So more and more Microsoft is putting public repos in GitHub, like for example, PowerShell DSC templates, SharePoint framework, ASP.NET Core, the documentation from docs.microsoft.com, etc. Microsoft is also adopting GitHub as the central place for all the lab guides, that we don't have it anymore on SkillPy. So courses like, for example, Azure and 365, because of the changes, are very challenging, so they are putting there, and we can just, okay, send the changes to the creator. This is the link, okay, of the repos of Microsoft Learning. And the thing is that they really need to change a lot the labs and the old files. So one of the first things that I always do to, for example, to my students, it's, okay, we need to basically grab the files and update the files folder, because the files that you have there are like totally outdated, so it doesn't matter, just delete that and just put these files here. So it's something that as an MCT, I try to be prepared when I teach Azure. Usually it doesn't work like that. I prep, okay, and when I'm in class, I always have a student saying the lab is not working. I even did, one time I said, okay, I'm going to do all the labs in the hotel at night. So I was in the hotel at night doing the labs that my students will do in the next day. Everything worked. I said, yeah, perfect. I will have like a calm day, very cool day. I need it, yeah. So I reached the class and boom, PowerShell scripts were not running. And basically, I needed to fix it on the fly. The first thing that I did was what? I went basically to GitHub and to check if someone had already fixed it. My bad, I was in Dubai, so time zone, okay? So the guys from the United States have luck. If the Europeans fix stuff, okay, they don't need to do it, okay, because we already fixed. Okay, that's a strategy. Oh, okay, got it. But guys from the Australia, right? So you reach it first. Why did you guys not fix it that day? Okay, come on. Okay, you should. So, but that's the thing. If you want to teach Azure, you need to be aware of that. So that's why I basically think that an Azure trainer should be more paid, okay, than a regular trainer that. For example, I also teach SharePoint, and my SharePoint classes are the same, like since they released the course, period, nothing changes, okay? I tell and they pay, so, yeah. Okay, I just say this is the rate for regular mock and this is the rate for Azure, that's it.
You guys work in Netherlands, right?
Okay. So, Microsoft, GitHub, the repos that we have here. So, why GitHub? So the thing is, basically, why Microsoft chooses GitHub. GitHub is the leader, the market leader on source control. So it has around 26 million users currently. And I was checking this before the presentation on Wikipedia, so I really don't know how accurate the number is. So if I got it wrong, sorry, blame Wikipedia or the guy that added Wikipedia, because it's the same as GitHub. Got it? Okay. So, and of course they have like a very good relationship with Microsoft. So how should we prepare a class? First thing, sign up for a GitHub account. Yes, sorry, question there.
How does GitHub compare with some of the others, like with Bitbucket? Does Microsoft seem to have a relationship with them as well?
Yeah, just, can you repeat the question because of the recording?
How, in your opinion, does GitHub compare, say, with some of the other similar repositories like Bitbucket? Because Microsoft seems to have a relationship with some of those guys as well, certainly from an Azure perspective.
Yeah, because you can ship stuff from Bitbucket to, for example, a web app or Azure function or whatever.
So what I'm really saying is why GitHub?
Why GitHub and not Bitbucket, for example? That's a very good question that I really do not know the answer. Okay.
6 million users?
Yeah, probably because of the number of users, but I really don't know the final reason. I know that Microsoft, not Microsoft Learning, because Microsoft Learning just use it what Microsoft already use it. So it was the natural
Tiago,
choices. Okay. Yes.
May I chime in? Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. The reason is very simple. First of all, we are using it ourselves. We do have source code in there. We have our own version of GitHub and all this stuff. But plenty of our customers are using other tools, and they have their processes, they have their developer knowledge and all this stuff around it. And therefore, we additionally support them, not prioritizing all of them at the same level, but putting the big bet on GitHub, because we are using it ourselves, and therefore that hopefully answers your question. Thank you.
Okay. So, first thing, get a GitHub account. Then, basically, I installed the GitHub desktop app or the Visual Studio one. I already told you that I prefer the Visual Studio extension. Then, basically, install this software here. So you have Pandoc version and Windows PowerShell community extensions. You have some of the links here. And there is a very good guide if you go to the 20533 course that explains what you should install and how you should install. And basically what I'm going to demo now, can we go to Mark, but just wait a minute, Mark, is that the first thing that I need to do on Monday morning, and I always do it on Monday morning, is that I update, okay, I synchronize my repo, my local repo, and then I will generate all the old files and the lab files for my students. And I just generate PDFs or Word documents so that they can just use them on their machines. There are some other MCTs that prefer to just send the link for GitHub and don't worry about it. I totally not agree with that, because I already have some students that are not used to GitHub and they get all confused, and then I needed to teach GitHub for like an hour or 2 hours so that they can do the labs. So the training is not on GitHub, so I prefer to just go straight for the stuff that I'm training, and then I will give them, if they want, I can explain where they can find updated stuff on that. I know your question, but you can do it.
I can do, okay.
Yes.
Since you mentioned that Codeplex is going down, just to clarify, it's also available on the PowerShell gallery and on GitHub.
Okay, so I didn't saw the question. I thought that Mark was going to do a question that everyone does. So this is all publicly available and everyone can use it. Well, in terms of licensing, I don't know the details, but publicly, yes, stuff is there. So everyone, if you want, just go there and grab the lab files, okay, and the lab instructions and the lab answer keys. Yes?
So, Tiago, where do you install all this? Locally on your computer, or if you use hosted labs in the VMs?
Well, if I'm having the labs on my laptop, okay, or in the desktops of the learning center, etc., I always share the thing that I'm going to generate now for you, for my students, and then they just upload to the VMs. If I use basically Learn on Demand, I think you guys update it, not like right away, right? But like weekly or something. Do you know?
So update
the files, for example, for these courses.
So it depends on the course, but yeah, they're
depends on the
updated,
course.
Updated very regularly.
Okay. But for example, if I teach, for example, the 532 course, which I don't have hosted labs because we don't need hosted labs because there is no hosted lab, there is no VM on that one, on that course. So I think you don't even support that course. It doesn't make any sense because the first lab is to generate a VM on Azure, and that's the VM that we are going to use. So
I think, like, to answer your question, like it would depend if the document you're wanting to give them for the lab, like the actual lab steps, I would generally not put that into the VM because you want to be able to have someone do the steps that they're going to perform in the VM. So having that in the VM means that that's kind of you're putting it inside the cupboard that you're going to be operating on. So
Yeah, but the
I
files.
generally do that on the desktop for the files
Yeah.
that they're going to use, like the scripts and that sort of thing. Yeah, put those into the lab VM.
Okay.
So
And we can send stuff for the VMs.
Yeah,
So
the-
you can just send the files if you want. And the thing is that you need to be careful because the labs tabs need to match the files, the file version. It has to be the same thing. For example, if you have like the Word document of the lab answer key and you're using a hosted lab environment that has not the same files, it will not work for sure. So you need to be careful and you need to update it. And what I do is that when I have the VMs, I just send the files and my students it's just copy the files. So it's not that a big deal.
I generate the PDFs and then I put them into OneDrive.
Yeah.
So that if I need to do something on the fly during the week, I just update it in OneDrive and then they just take it out of there. The other thing that I find is difficult with some of these courses is I think the 3.2 and the 3.3 uses the D drive.
Duh.
Everything is hard-coded as D drive. So when you create that VM in Azure, you're forced to put the files, well, you can change everything, or you have to put all the files on the temporary disk,
Yeah.
which causes some issues.
Yeah. I'm fortunate enough, I never had that issue, but in the class. But for the ones that don't know, the D drive, basically when you turn off the VM, Microsoft can just delete the files there because it's a temporary drive. Okay, and there is a lot of customers that use this because it's like free space. But yeah, for training, okay, but you can fork a repo and you can change where it says D drive, you can just change to blah 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 and like X drive or something, and you can do that. And to be honest, I already recommended that, okay, to the Azure team, and at least for the 532 because it's Sydney Andrews that does that course. And they are like, I think they are working on something about it. I don't know it for sure how it's going to be. Okay? Yes?
Quick question about the PowerShell community extensions. When you go to the website of Codeplex, it states Codeplex is shutting down.
Yes.
So where are those going to?
It's there on Codeplex. Yes, but you can also find it in the PowerShell gallery, correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Top.
Okay, and I think they are going to ship it to GitHub, but to be honest, I don't know the URL on GitHub. We could just need to basically copy Windows PowerShell community extension and just search on GitHub, and probably we will get there. Okay.
PSCX.
The SCX is the account name. Okay.
GitHub.com/PSCX.
Okay. Thanks.
Can you clarify a little bit the difference between a branch and a fork?
Between the branch.
And a fork, did I miss that?
We can go a little bit back. Can I just generate this, put this to generate, because it takes a little bit of time? Okay, so, and I will go there. Okay, so I already have here, by the way, my machine I already have the Pandoc and the other prereq, all the prereqs installed. So if I go, for example, for the 533, and under build, I have this file, okay, Pandoc, and basically I just need to basically run, okay, the file, and basically it just said, oh, what is the current version? So I just need to create a version. I'll just call it MCT, MCT Summit. And basically now it's just generating some Word documents. So those Word documents are the lab files and the lab answer key files. And then it's going to copy the lab files, okay? So the PowerShell scripts and all the Visual Studio projects and all of that. And it's going to create 2 zip files. Then it's going to zip both of them. And it's going to create 2 zip folders. Then you can just give those to your students. Be careful, these are Word documents. They are not PDFs. So if you want, you can just basically file save the PDFs, the Word to PDFs, okay? Or you can just write a PowerShell script to do that if you want. But the ones that this generate are Word documents. I know that some of the trainers, we should not give Word documents because then people can edit, etc. It's on GitHub, okay? So, yeah, I don't care, to be honest. Okay, so I basically I just give everything to my students, and basically that's it. So now it's basically creating, okay, the zip file of the lab files, but I already have here, okay, under the temp file, okay, my lab instructions, and there you go. Okay, of course this one, it's what you have on GitHub. So if you just, for example, someone changes a lab step, okay, because for example, one of the steps change or the UI change or something, the lab file steps are changed on the markdown. This is just querying the markdown and is just generating the Word documents based on the template that you have on the folder. And basically that's it. Okay? Question? Yeah, Mark. Okay. So this is generating. Okay, I'm not going to wait to finish generating. So there you go. So I think with this slide it's easier. So I have here, okay, basically a branch. And what I did here is that I created a fork. A fork is create another branch. And then I have two parallel branches. And then somehow here I said, oh yeah, I want to merge this into this. So all the changes that I did here are going to basically be also on this branch.
That's how I understood it. But then why does GitHub differentiate between forks and branches? You've got a different number of forks and a different number of branches on the projects.
Okay, because I can have people doing forks, okay, and I can do a fork, for example, in one of the Microsoft projects, okay, but that's my personal fork. It's not something that Microsoft or the project owner, just generalize a little bit, will take care of it, okay? So it's kind of a different. For example, I have the 532. I have one of my forks that I have on that project. It's for me to change the course because I wanted to tweak just a little bit the course, and I don't want it to do that. So, but Microsoft will never know that. I will never merge that. Okay, so it's just a fork that I have done. Okay, and then I can use it, and then I don't need to really match it to a branch. Okay, and if we see here, for example, on the app, I have the 530. Doesn't matter. So I have a branch. Well, not this one. I don't know much well the 533, but this one, for example, here has several, okay, several branches. Okay, so this is basically the current one. Okay, they call it the C release. Okay, and then we have the other ones. Okay, so I can create a fork, but I'm not the project owner, so I will never create a branch. That's Microsoft or the owner of the project that is going to do that.
So you're saying that the branch is a fork from the master? Or
You can even do it from another branch. Okay.
There's a pull request, is what you're saying.
Then you need to pull it. Yes, you need to do a pull request so that they can change it. Yes.
That makes a branch.
That makes no. That basically you're just shipping the stuff that you change on your fork to that branch. Okay. No. Maybe I can do a demo offline to you. Okay, on that one of my projects. Okay, questions? Yes, we have to finish, but if you want, they are saying that I need to finish, but if you have questions, I can take it offline probably, okay? Yeah? Okay, sorry.